Hello there, my name is Bruce Rain from Breakers Creations, and this is a very unplanned live stream. I have been working on the Macintosh IIfx, which you may or may not have seen in one of my previous streams. This is one that I picked up through eBay and have been trying to fix up the battery corrosion damage. And I worked on it for some hours yesterday, and at the same time was chatting to a few of the other Mac yackers off and on, and anyhow, I really do not have time to be working on this, but I have become a little bit obsessed with it. I've sort of been thinking about it every waking moment, so I've had to come out here and actually go and deal with it. Hello to Starbuck Tech, hello to Steve, hello to Adam McGee, hello to SadMax356, hello to John Powell. I don't expect a whole lot of viewers here today because I have done absolutely nothing in the way of promoting this whatsoever. I was thinking that I might actually just contact the yackers and say, hey guys, I'm working on this IIfx again. If you guys want to jump onto just a group chat, and then Steve posted in our little group chat, what time are you streaming? And I thought, I may as well. I'm going to be out here working on it. Enzo, hello. Are you sure this can be fixed? No. So here are a couple of things I can tell you about this from a statistics point of view. It's not really from a statistics point of view. I have not even attempted to supply any power to this yet. I have been just going through and repairing visible damage. Now, once I've repaired all that visible damage, who knows, it may not work at the end of that. I have handwritten IIfx schematics from Beaumark. I've gone in and I've actually made some of these things searchable so that I can actually find capacitors, search for it on a PDF. I also have another IIfx board with damage in a different area, which has made it very handy for me to go through and test, with a little multimeter and just check and see what's going on. And I found a pair of tweezers down here. What do you reckon they're doing down there? Are they a good pair? Let's have a look. Oh, they are a good pair. Good. Glad I found those. Patrick, hello. Anyhow, without further ado, I think I might just start getting into it. So I'll just show you what I've done and what still needs to be done, and then we'll just work our way through it. Scarlet Swordfish, hello. And then we'll just have to wait and see whether this is, whether I manage to engage people's attention long enough to actually sit here and watch it, or whether they will just go, oh my goodness, this is too hard to watch. Yesterday was spaghetti time, so I ran a whole stack of wires and then I went and joined them all up. So let me just go here to microscope view, and we'll just go in and have a quick look at this. So this was one of the real problematic chips here. And the main issue with this one is that this is not one that is easily replaced. Now I lost a few pins and I have soldered them up, and so that's all looking nice. Often when I'm trying to repair traces, I work very hard to make the trace run along the original line of, make the repair run along the original line of the trace. But because this is so badly damaged, it's very hard for me to anchor the wires onto anything, so they're kind of just going all over the shop, and then I'll just do what I can to tidy them up later on. So this chip here was not in too bad a shape, so I was able to keep this chip, but of course I've had to do lots and lots of wiry, tracy wiry stuff. So that's all the wiry, tracy stuff going on there. I won't say that's all of it. That's what I've done so far. There's a whole hell of a lot more to do. And then I've got still a couple of wires hanging around that I have to fix this guy up first. So let's just get all our focus and everything all sorted out. So I'll just do that. So focus. I used to have I used to work for a Polish lady, and she, the way she used to say focus often made it sound like it was a swear word. Right, so immediately apparent problem is that all of these pads here have broken away from the traces. So I've got to do joiny, connecty, roony thingies here to here, here to 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 here. So that's going to be something quite joyous to do. Let's just clean up things here. I'm going to clean this a little bit so I can see it a bit better. Now, I'm not going to make the same mistake I made yesterday where I went and I put a chip back on and then I realised that I needed to run some wires underneath the chip and had to take the chip back off and then do a whole bunch of repairs again, and it was a real nightmare. And the second time around it didn't look as nice as the first time. So we will not be making that same mistake today. So what I have done is I've gone in and made holes where you can see all these little vias. I've made holes through to the other side so that I can run wires in them if needed. And as to whether those wires will be needed, I guess we will find that out in due course. I have two little tools for working on this. I have this little drill bit here for going through these larger vias, like this one. Some of the vias have got solder in them, which I guess they were probably being used for probe points. Some of them don't, they just have gunk in them. Hello Jay, how are you today? And JJ Brubaker is here as well. I was just explaining, Jay, that I was working on this and chatting to you and to Steve and to Dana last night my time, like really early in the morning your time. Yeah, and so the challenge I have here is that when I run a wire from here to here, it's going to kind of sit underneath where the feet are going to be. So that's going to make these feet kind of not sit flat. And of course, obviously over here, we've got no pad at all. But all of these traces are coming out the side there, so that makes it a lot easier from a repair perspective. So let's start getting some things happening here. We're going to be doing another spaghetti fest. So that involves me using this wire. I'm using 34 AWG, that's American wire gauge. And essentially what I'm going to do is I'm going to poke wire through all of these holes. And hopefully some of them I may not need all of these wires, but we'll see. So, oh geez, my knee is sore. Why is my knee sore? I don't know. Why am I asking you? I think I might go to the micro pencil for this. What happened to this board? It's awful. Yeah, battery bombed, basically. It was only 4 AM, not bad. There we go. So I picked this up on eBay. I took a chance on it. It basically appeared on eBay. And a friend of mine, he contacted me. He said, hey, have a look at this. Buy it. It was 149 Australian dollars, and you couldn't see inside it. You could only see the outside. So, and the outside looked absolutely horrendous. Now, I would not, if it was any other computer, I'd probably just say, I'm not going to bother about it. But it's a 2FX, and I don't have a 2FX in my collection. And I want a 2FX in my collection. And these two things conspired and resulted in me buying it. Okay, there's wire number uno. Super like a recent solder is not working and basically just needed caps and RAM. Yeah, I mean, look, if this thing had been stored with the batteries removed, it would be fine. It was incredibly dirty. The case was dirty, the board was dirty. I mean, it was a mucky mess. But if the batteries had been removed, it would have just taken a clean and away we go. So, you know, that's just how it goes, you know. Come through. There we go. Now, one of the wires that I've already done needs to go to one of the pins on this, but I can't remember which one it is. I'll have to look it up. Have to look him up, and then we'll find out what to do. We'll figure it all out. So I'm actually using a micro pencil at the moment. What that is essentially just like it's like a soldering iron, normal soldering iron tip, but it's very, very small, and it has incredibly good thermal mass for something this small. And it allows me to do very precise work and get a lot of heat where I need it. It's just a fantastic little thing. Got talked into buying it from Jay. I had no intention of getting one, and he said, "Oh, you've got to get one of these. They're fantastic." And, you know, I listened to him and I bought it, and I was very impressed. Hello, DOS Mobile. Oh, jeez, my knee. Crazy. Right, so let me grab my schematics and just see if I can figure this out. So I'm going to be looking at the... No. Largely what I'm working on here is all serial port based. I'd be very curious to see whether it might even work without this stuff repaired, because it might, might just be a matter of the serial ports not working, but who knows. Right, so I've got here, this is UD16, that's this fella, and he is going to pin, oh god, spectacles. He's going to pin 20. Now, how do we count that out? We go like this. Pin 1. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Alright, so I've already stuck the wire through, so that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. I'm thinking. I'm using my brain. Using my grey matter. So how did everyone go with the recent Apple event? I don't get to see that stuff live. I mean, I could see it live, but I have to get up at like 2 in the morning if I want to watch them. I did that once before because we were going to do a special kind of spotlight on the event on one of the Mac shows. So I stayed up late so that I could actually report on it on the show, be it sort of somewhat advised. But I'm just curious to see what people think of the new Apple Mini Maxi. I have to admit, I'm pretty damn impressed with the horsepower of that thing. If I was in the market for a new computer, I'd buy it. But to be honest, the Mac Pro that I'm using at the moment, which is a 5.1, and I've recently just upgraded to a really, really fast internal SSD, and I'm using OpenCore, and I've got an RX 590 in it and everything like that. And it's to be honest, it really is serving me incredibly well. I mean, yes, I would love to go and have something a little bit faster, but I really can't justify it at the moment, to be honest. If I start having to sit and wait for a computer, that's when I turn around and say, you know what, I need to buy a new one. My time is money, so if I'm sitting waiting for a computer, there is justification for me to spend money on getting a faster one. My wife was actually saying she would buy me one as a gift, maybe later in the year, but I said to her, if she's going to be spending those sorts of dollars, I think I'd probably rather that money invested in upgrading this shed. It's not a shed, it's a studio. Yeah. Need more solder. K24A1, hello. The Apple event was very expensive. Yes, we know that Steve has actually taken the step. It's something he had been planning to do for some time. He's talked to us about it in the MacGat group. He basically wanted an M1, but he did not want the first wave. He wanted to wait until the M1 had been around a bit, wait until the next wave. And of course, this is the next wave. And as I said, I have to admit, I'm pretty impressed with it. I mean, I will always be against computers that do not have modular upgradability. So computers where you can't upgrade RAM and you can't upgrade storage, hard drive storage. But the RAM you can kind of excuse, because the way they've built these now with integrated RAM, that's part of what makes them so fast. So you can kind of excuse the RAM situation, but the being able to upgrade, I don't think you can upgrade an SSD in those. Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think you can upgrade the SSD. So the storage that you purchase is the storage you're going to be stuck with. I mean, you can obviously expand it on the outside, but yeah. And of course, the cooling side of it looks good. I mean, in my office, it'll just end up with pet fur in it, but that's that. And of course, as we were, I was chatting with Jay and Dana last night. You know, I mean, although I do quite like the new display. So that's my Tim Cook. Sorry, I don't do it as well as Dana. But the new display is nice, but I wouldn't spend that much. I mean, I would be just more inclined to go and buy myself a Samsung. So, okay. So link to the securing. Okay, well, I guess, I mean, I know that Apple are essentially using the security excuse for their lack of expandability, lack of modularity. I do not, will not, cannot consider the word modular when it comes to a computer like this. Simple as that. But I do like the grunt. I like the amount of power it has, no doubt about that. And I'm just thinking about all those Mac Pro owners, you know, sort of crying into their coffee this morning. Pardon me. Oh, it is, I just burped. Isn't that terrible? Isn't that rude of me to do that in the middle of a live stream? Thought I might grab myself a little bit of fume extraction here. Excuse me. Okay, so more of the same here. As I say, what I'm doing at the moment is prepping. Just prepping for this component to go on, and then I'll do all the rest of the repairs after that. You can see I'm leaving these leads hanging out. I will trim them once the component is on. Got these wee holes here. I don't know what they look like on the other side, so I'll probably run a wire to them as well. It'll look like hair when I flip it over to the other side. Should probably tin those first. Get a little bit of Fluxaroni on there. Fluxaroni to there. Yeah, it gets worse too. I mean, to be honest, the traces are fine in terms of, from my perspective, repairing them is nice and easy. The difficult stuff is when I have to, you know, work out where some of these things go when there's like damage to a via. Look at that, using a little micro pencil for solder wick. Jack 68K, hello there. Good old 68K, I tell you. This is what we're looking at today. 68030. This, when it came out, was Apple's kind of flagship. This was like super fast, and to some extent to the device's own detriment. It part of making this thing really fast, they went down the path of using a different type of RAM to all of their other computers, and that of course made life a little bit difficult, and continues to make life difficult. Thankfully, there are lovely people. I will mention one that I know of, Kai, who have gone in and reverse engineered RAM sims for these, so that you can actually make your own RAM. And I have, I think, 4 16s here, not assembled yet, but if I get this working, you can bet your bottom dollar I will be assembling them. Okay, so there's that one. Just going to trim this one. Trim. Bim. And let's get another one. The 2FX still feels crazy fast. Yeah, now, who here can tell me what operating system it was released with? So when you bought a 2FX, what operating system would you have got with the computer? Does anyone know? Go through your little thing. Ooh, there we go. System 605, really, God, can you imagine the way this would have flown under System 6? Crikey. I mean, a 2CI flies under System 6. Now this thing would have just gone like the clappers. If I end up actually successfully fixing this, I am going to end up having to coat this with so much UV solder mask, with all these wires hanging out all over the place. There's a lot of repetition goes on with this sort of stuff, just having to go through this one step at a time. I mentioned in my first live stream when I was doing this that the way I kind of keep myself sane while I'm doing this is by compartmentalizing, by doing these in sections, just focusing on a specific section at a time, and then I don't look at it and go, oh, it's all too much, and then run away screaming. There we go. Doo-doo-doo. Now I really should get a little bit of UV mask there to hold this in place at this location. I just think it might make my life easier. Thomas Armstrong, hello. And once again, if I do get this working, I don't know what I'm actually going to do with it. I mean, I'll obviously get it out and have a bit of a play, you know. Usually, I usually get out, get a game of Civilization going, something like that. One of the things I always do for gauging computer speed is I run like Wolfenstein 3D to see how well it handles that. I've got some really nice display cards on their way to me. I think they're coming fairly soon. I did a trade with someone. I'm doing some recapping. And in return, they're sending me 6 new bus cards, 3 Supermax and 3 Radius. I think Radius. Rasterops, sorry, my mistake. 3 Rasterops and 3 Supermax. And so, yeah, really, really looking forward to that. Because I have a lot of these, 2 models, and to be able to have those, especially, I particularly love the ones with, accelerated graphics. So they're not just displaying, but they'll actually, allow it all to draw faster and stuff. And of course there are some models, and I know Steve from Mac 84 has one of these, very envious. One where it actually has, you can install plugins into Photoshop, and the card will actually take over the role of doing some stuff. So it will speed up things like Gaussian blurs. It will speed up sort of compression and decompression of JPEG files. So, really cool stuff there. And I used to have one at the place that I used to work, and it's so funny because it just feels like yesterday. It feels so recent, but of course it was such a long time ago. And it allowed us to. You just wouldn't have bothered with JPEG file format, and obviously, yes, it's a lossy file format. But let's just say you're archiving a job. So you've done the job, it's all been printed, and you just want to archive it, and you've done all your image editing and stuff, and all you want to do is just store that image file that you used to print. Save it in JPEG would just save you so much space. But for people who may not recall, back in those days, you could end up waiting a really long time to compress and decompress a JPEG file. And so having these cards that actually did that work for you just made life a lot easier. Jeremy, hello. I have a Macintosh SE that turns on. I have no mouse for it. What can I do with it? Well, not a lot without a mouse. I mean, the first thing I would be doing is trying to get hold of a mouse. So an SE is ADB, Apple Desktop Bus. So you're looking for an Apple Desktop Bus mouse and keyboard. It doesn't matter what sort as long as they're ADB. They can even be non-Apple brand. But you're basically just looking for an ADB keyboard and an ADB mouse. And then there's plenty you can do with it. In particular, if you get onto something like Macintosh Garden, you can download like these 1,000 shareware games and stuff like that were made for those little black and white screens. And there's a whole stack of games you can play there. And there's a lot you can do on it. And I mean, I used to do desktop publishing on a Macintosh Plus. People might laugh and go, oh yeah, but the software you were using was pretty archaic. I'm telling you, I was using like Quark Express version 3, and you could do a lot on that. You could do a lot. I mean, you can do more on Quark Express 3 than you can still do on Word today. In terms of page layout. I believe that we've had terrible raining and flooding in this part of the world. For anyone who wasn't aware, it rained for I think they said it was something like 16 days solid. So I didn't quite get to the 40 days and 40 nights thing, but and I believe it has chased or motivated some little furry friends to take up residence in this workshop. I do believe I am hearing the sound of little feet over there. Fever Dreams. Joe, which Joe? I missed. I've got to scroll up. I'm saying hello, Joe, but there are so many Joes that appear on this on my live streams. I don't know which Joe it is. It's that Joe. Hello, Joe. Mr. Straws. While Joe is here, I should, of course, make mention of the little logo up in the corner here, which I'm now going to just point at. It's that one. MARCHintosh. So this is March, which means it is MARCHintosh, the second MARCHintosh. And it is where we celebrate everything vintage Macintosh. So, you know, get out there, create some content, watch some content, go and have a look at all the MARCHintosh stuff. This video will eventually have a MARCHintosh hashtag, but it doesn't at this particular juncture because I did this live stream so unplanned. Okay, more wire. More wire. Okay, now I can scroll down. Francois is here as well, hello. Justin is here, hello. Eric is here, hello. All these people turning up, hello, 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 hello. Okay, there we go. MARCHintosh 2022. That is the hashtag I will be using when I get around to doing the hashtags for this. Right, so we've got... I have a little... Oh, fudge. I had... Oh, where are you? Is that you? Please be you. It's not you. Piffle. I had a little needle that I fashioned into a pokey device. Oops, I just dropped my microphone. Into a pokey device. And I'm now concerned that I've knocked it off this table, so it could be anywhere. I'm just going to have a quick look here, see if I can find it. If not, I might have to make another one. But essentially what I do is I get a needle and I Dremel it into a point small enough to fit through these little vias. Now, of course, the other thing is I may not have put it back where I was supposed to put it. I could have just left it on the table here. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Let's have a look. Oh, no. Did I put it back where it's supposed to be? Nope. Anyhow, let's see if we can do it with this one. So I'll just show you what I do. I get the old Dremel Rooney, and I go my Dremel just gradually gets faster. It's always done that. Sorry about the noise, folks. Okay, well, let's see if that is thin enough. And so then what I can do, I can get this like this. Oh crap. What have I done? Oh, I know what I've done. Hang on. I can get this and I can like poke. It's not thin enough. I really wish I could find the one that I made earlier because it's really good. I mean, you know, it was perfect. and I've lost it, and I'm not happy about it. I mean, it's either been knocked off and fallen to the ground, or I've left it somewhere. Either is possible. Alright. Still going. Oops, wrong end. It is an absolutely essential tool for doing this sort of work, because I have to be able to get wires through these holes, but they get so gummed up with crud that that you can't poke it through with a wire. You need something solid. But because they're probably only a third, sorry, 0.2, 0.3 of a mil, something like that, in thickness. So it's not like you can just get your drill bits and go down there with them. Everything goes for silly money on eBay now, yep. And it's not helped by, you know, like news stories that they run saying, oh, are you sitting on a gold mine? This sort of crap. Even old silly money goes for silly money. Why? Why? Now, have I made a hole big enough for this wire to go through? I believe the answer is no. And it is. The answer is no. How can we figure that? I guess I can just keep trying to persuade it. My old employer, someone I used to work for many years ago, has put aside an X-Serve for me and an X-Serve RAID. I'm interested in them from the novelty perspective. I am a little bit concerned about the space aspect. Where are you? I thought I'd gone through, but I clearly have not. Something's happening. Messing with me. Who's messing with me? This thing's messing with me. I'm so confused. See if I can find this on the other side. Sorry, folks. This is I realise this is pretty dull, but it is. It's just what I have to do. Unfortunately, I'm just doing the thing. And it really feels like... There. Is it that hole there? Is it? Is it? This one I've made is nowhere near as good as the one I made before. Just saying. Mike K, hello. Random question. Does anyone know if the two Xserve RAID arrays, 7 drives per array times 2, total can be logically combined into a singular array as you use all 14 drives in one RAID? Yes, I believe you can. Jay from the House of Moth would be the person to ask you that. He's the one that would be able to give you a definitive answer, but it is my recollection, it may not be correct, that yes, you can make them all into one single RAID. I need to make this thinner. Sorry, more dremeling, more noise. Apologies, apologies. Okay. This is a much... That's better. Now I just have to hope I haven't made it so thin that it breaks off the first time I use it. We went through all the way. Yay! Today is a good day. Did I pick the right hole? Yes, I did. Look at that. Here's the gunge that I just poked through it. Look at that gunge. Right, so now, wire feeding through. That one's yucky. I'm not going to use that bit of wire. What about this one? No. Ah, this isn't on. This one looks good. I have 2 Xserve RAIDs and I am unable to unify both sides together into a singular RAID. Interesting. Well, I know what's happened. See, Jay from the House of Moth, he's done his trick where he turns up at the beginning of a stream and he says, hello. And then he disappears. He goes off and does his own thing. So he's off doing his own thing now. And so he's the one person that I would want to ask specifically about Xserve RAID stuff. Not that I am criticizing anyone else's knowledge of this. Actually, I think Grudy knows a fair bit about them as well, but he doesn't turn up to any of my streams. Well, very rarely, I should say, does he turn up to one of my streams. Right, we finally have the wire through. Yay! That was a Kermit the Frog cheer there. Nate is here. Hello, Nate. Welcome to my nightmare. Where we attempt to answer the question, how badly do I want a 2FX? So here's an interesting question you have to kind of pose to yourself, you know, when you're working on something like this. Let's just say, for argument's sake, I spend, I don't know, 10 hours on this. I don't think I will spend 10 hours, but let's just say I do. Let's just say I put a value on that time of $100 an hour. Why not? Nice round figure. So that means I'll have spent $1,000 worth of repair to this. Would I then not just be better off spending $1,000 on one of these in good condition? Whew. Micro Major Repairs here, hello. Starting to warm up here now, after such a long period of horrendous weather. Oh, where's this meant to go? I connected the wrong one. Well, I mean, I did and I didn't. I mean, this still needs to be sorted, but I thought I was repairing a different trace. Down the hole we go. There we go. Okay. A little bit more spaghetti. So now we have to do this one, and this one goes into this hole. And let's just make sure that hole has access. Here we go. The ones that really scare me, the holes that scare me are ones like this. So that's meant to have copper on it, and it doesn't. And it doesn't go anywhere. So that means that from the other side, that wire goes somewhere. I've got to trace it out and find out where it's meant to go. Yes, this will definitely become a prototype by the time I'm finished with it. Right, more wire. I would love to be in a position today where I could actually switch this on and test it. But I don't know if we'll get there. And you've got to remember, every single wire I'm poking through here, I've got to sort out the other side too. Painty, painty, painty. Oh shit. Oops, I swore. Did anyone hear that? No one heard that, did they? Could have been anyone. Off to eat dinner. Okay, no worries. Enjoy your dinner, Adam. I assure you that I won't be doing anything other than what I'm doing now, so I don't think you'll be missing anything. Look at all the mess up there. It's terrible. Okay. So, I want to just get this attached a little bit better here. Get down there, you. Down. Stop it. I'm going to end up using my finger. Should bend it first, shouldn't I? Tweezers in my hand. There we go. Crud. Ugh. Whew. Wow, we having fun yet? Once again, anyone who might be watching this and is not familiar with the stuff that I do, first of all, where have you been? Second of all, what I'm using at the moment is UV solder mask. It's a type of liquid that dries when you hit it with UV light. It's nice and sunny today. The sun would work very well, but just for a little spot one like this, using this UV laser is the way to go. Okay. And we'll do a little dog leg here. Like that. And then I'm going to solder him onto there. And we are going to have to run this all the way along, because as you can see, this is a real mess, this one. Mess. Oh, what a mess. I've got to move this thing back. I'm falling off the desk. Did anyone happen to catch on the news that they found Ernest Shackleton's ship, the Endurance, sorry? Someone's calling me. Oh, no, I can't take that call. Only person I will answer the phone for mid-live stream, or people I should say, actually, probably person actually, would be my wife. I was going to say my mother, but to be honest, if she was calling me, she'd probably be asking me for a bit of tech support or something like that, maybe, with the computer, and that would be a little bit difficult to dish out while I was streaming. Listen, you guys have got to be quiet, okay? Oh, I just saw it. I just saw the mouse fly across the floor. Could be. I've got the wine delivery yesterday, actually, so all good. We're all set. For obvious reasons, you have to be here when the wine comes. They won't just leave it at the doorstep, because otherwise you could, of course, have people under the age of 18 ordering wine. They do actually have to see some ID. Even for an old fart like me, they check the ID. I'm clearly over the age of 18. Bring a chicken, they love to eat mice. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they would. I'm not sure they'd be able to get to them. The mice are pretty good at hiding. I mean, put it this way, we get mice inside the compost bin in the backyard, and the chickens have full access to that. So the mice manage to elude the chickens down there, as long as they have somewhere to hide. There we go. Okay, so we're getting closer. I was going to say getting closer, then I just looked at this and went, no, we're not close. We are not close. There's no way we're close. This is not close. No, not. But we are getting closer to being able to put this chip on. I've got to repair. I've got to do all these first. Chomp, 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 chomp. Will you stop it? Yeah, hello. You got to pretend like you're not here, okay? When I know you're here, then I'm going to have to take steps to get rid of you. So if you stay quiet, I can pretend like you're not here. Yes, Chris Hertford, I used to have a chicken. Unfortunately, she died. I have 6 chickens at the moment, but I used to have a chicken called Bernie or Bernadette, and we named her that because we found her out front of a school called St. Bernadette's. And she was very small. She was a very small chicken compared to the size of my other chickens. She was so small she could actually fit through the railings of the fence where I keep the chickens during the day. And so she used to come through here, and she always wanted to sleep in here. This is where she wanted. She used to hop up under the microscope, and she'd perch herself up here, and she would like to sleep right there, not out in the coop with the other chickens. And I mean, I didn't allow it. Sometimes she did it without me knowing, and then I would come in and I would find chook poo all over the table. But that's another story. But, and so at a particular time, if I was live streaming at a particular time, like when the sun was starting to set, she would come in here and hop up onto the microscope and give me a little bit of a cameo. Yeah, now it's just me. Sorry. Right. So, now, then, well, let's start. So that's a, oh. Let me just check something. Checking something. Yeah, okay. So, here's an interesting one. We have this little wire going down here. It goes to this pad as well. So we're going to have a second wire going down that hole, making it even more spaghetti-like. More wildlife cameos from Australia. Well, there's certainly a lot of bird life. I mean, you can definitely hear lots of bird life here at certain times of the day, and certain times of the year as well. Last night, while I was chatting to some of the Maciat guys, we had a flock of corellas zoom by. Corellas, for those who may or may not be familiar with a particular bird here in Australia called the sulphur-crested cockatoo. They get exported a lot, so you may well see them, and they're basically a great big cockatoo with a yellow crest that they can raise And there are lots of videos of them dancing and stuff like that, and being silly and stuff, because they're a very playful animal. They should not, of course, be in captivity, but that's another story. But anyhow, they're cockatoo, sulphur-crested cockatoo. Corellas are similar to them, but they don't have the big, they don't have the big yellow crest, and they're a bit smaller. They are also playful, and they are also like the sulphur-crested cockatoo in that they live for a really long time. Sulphur-crested cockatoos live till they're like usually about 90 years old, and of course it means that when people, you know, keep them in captivity, they suddenly find themselves in a situation where this bird has outlived the owner, and then they have to try and find homes for these poor birds who have lost their owners. And because they're very social animals, so when they do lose their owner, it often affects them very badly. New Macintosh II power supply seems to have died once I unlocked the power button. That's a suck. There are, I think, some of those power supplies are better than others. I think it's whether they're an Aztec or a Sony or something like that. I can't remember. But you can just, yeah, you have to have a look inside, see if it needs some recapping. Could be come on. There you go. Could be reefers. I think they have reefers in those, don't they? But you probably would have noticed that, or probably would have made smoky smells. You prefer multiple through a via versus just joining at the hole? Well, it's got to go through to the other side because I've got to actually wire it up. So as to what I will do on the other side, I'll figure that out when I get to the other side. Let's just say that I'm just making sure I have everything sort of covered, nothing missed before I put this chip on. When we flip this over, you'll see how extraordinary it all looks. I think it's the button. I tried to hold it when I push it down, it powers on. I think I know. Oh, okay. Well, that means the problem is on your logic board, not your power supply. That's the problem on the with the startup circuit. And that was, if it hasn't been recapped, it will need to be recapped. But you may find there's also some trace damage there that needs to be sorted out. But yeah, having one that does weird stuff with the power supply, power button, that is typically leaky caps on the board. You'll get the same problem with pretty much all of the soft boot ones, 2X, 2CX, 2CI, 2FX. Seeing as we're looking at one now, we may as well mention that one. Stay still. I'm having a lot of trouble getting where I want to be for this. Stay. Did you make the last one too long? I'm going to trim it. I'll trim it once I get the chip on. Need a little bit more solder. We should check and make sure these are all properly stuck down. Stuck, 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 stuck. Any US government secrets on that TCI there, Justin? I can hear lots of people mowing their lawns today because it's been wet for so long. Everything's sort of growing like crazy. Stupid. What time is it? 12 o'clock, okay. So that would make it 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Or Eastern Time? Is that what they call it? Just Eastern Time? Something like that. I'm fairly familiar with the old Eastern side of things because that's the time zone that all of the other Mac yakkers are in. I heard you. Hello, little mousey. Hello. Oh, they're so cute. So cute. Yeah, I feel bad that I'm going to have to kill you. One of the things that I find really frustrating when you're working with a lot of these old Macs, you know, if you get one that has an old original hard drive in it, and you're like, oh, you know, what am I going to find on here? You know, is there going to be old software that no one else has been able to get hold of or something like that? And regrettably, most of the Macs I get hold of, the hard drives are just shot, you know, just dead, old and dead. They didn't leave the caddy. Yeah, I've seen that happen before as well. And people have got no idea. They don't really realise. Thankfully, these days, with, you know, okay, it's different if you want everything to be original. I've probably got a spare 2CI caddy, to be honest, but yeah, now that I have a 3D printer, you know, if you need to get hold of a bracket or a caddy or something like that, you can generally just, you know, make your own or print your own, which is really, really handy for this hobby. When you start being in a situation like this where you're actually working on one trace right next to another one, it starts to become a little tricky because you need to solder one without desoldering the other. There we go. I think we're done. I think we're done. So we are now ready, really, for this component to go on. We've got to obviously repair all of these traces, but I can replace them once the chip is in. The main thing now is I can put the chip on and just work around it. So, is it time to put the chip on? Is it? Crispy, hello. Any idea when Blue SCSI will be back in stock? Not long. So what has happened is I need to get a modification made. I've got a couple of components that I've ordered. I'm just waiting to come in from DigiKey. And then when I do that, I will then have, I think, I'll have 2 or 3 that I can sell. And then, but I've got to get new boards done, and I've got Eric from Blue SCSI making a slight mod to the board for me. So, so I should have 1 or 2 available for sale very soon, and then the rest, yeah, the rest will then come a little bit later than that. But generally, a lot of this stuff does move quite quickly. I mean, I know everyone's kind of freaked out with what's going on in the world about deliveries going slowly. So far, I haven't really had that issue. What is going on with this wire? There we go. Right. Well, I'm going to put this chip on. Some may call me a fool. Actually, quite a few do, but that's actually kind of irrelevant. Hello, Mr. Chip. Oh, and now I'm getting visited by pigeons. Hello. Can I get visited by some native Australian animals instead of all these introduced ones, please? For the guests, for the people watching. Might just clean up these pins, the legs on this chip a little bit. Where am I going to put this? Oh, crap. Not good. Don't want to do that. Don't go anywhere. Okay. So when I'm doing a clean on a chip like this, typically what I'll do is I'll just get some flux on there. I'll get a better soldery thingy. Any wombats? Not in this part of Australia. You'll find them. You don't really find wombats in sort of residential suburban areas. You find them more in places that are a lot closer to bushland. Same with kangaroos. You know, you've got to be kind of further out in the bush. They're not really in residential areas. Plenty of lots of birds and stuff here, but. So I'll just get some solder and some flux on this, and I'll just give this a good rub like that. Just trying to get these pins looking shiny without burning my finger. Ouch. I want everything to look shiny. Bit more flux, and I got some big pig thing on the end of the flux. Get like the solder, hold down the chip, running back and forth. Got a little bit of wire in there, need to get rid of it. Ouch. 'Twas hot. And let's just see how it looks on the other side. Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. I don't think I'm going to have any trouble getting solder to stick to those. nice. Nice, 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 nice. Sondeg 3. To the trace repair before soldering the chip back in place. No. And there are two reasons for that. There's really only one reason actually, and the reason is that this board is covered in flux. So in order for me to put any form of conformal coating or UV mask on this, I would need to clean it first. And I'm very far from finished working on it. So, you know, and we're talking about me having to potentially clean it lots and lots and lots and lots. So what I have done is I have tinned all of the stuff under here. So everything that's under here has basically either got like this enamel coating on these wires, or it's got solder on the exposed parts of copper. So that will keep them from corroding. So that's the protection that I'm applying to that. Now, I'm going to apply lots and lots of UV mask around around all of the... where did I put the chip, just out of curiosity? The one that I was just cleaning. Anyone? Did I put... oh, here it is. Yeah, so all around all of this, but in terms of what's under this, because, you know, as I say, I would need to clean this before I'd be able to get any form of coating to stay on it. Okay. So that is the answer for that. But I can tell you that if I could, you know, it's not essential, but if I could put a coating on it, I probably would at this stage. But I just, as I say, I don't want to, the more times this goes through the cleaner, the more it's going to cause erosion to some of the, you know, the soldery bits. It moved a little bit, which is a suck, but it's not enough for me to worry about. The other thing we have to remember with this is that this will never be sold. Well, it might be if I, in the event of my untimely demise or something like that, but this is mine and it's going to stay mine. And so from my perspective, I'm building this in a way that I am confident that it will last, because I will want it to last because it's mine. Having said that, I am the same with stuff that I repair for sale. I want that to last as well. I've got a 2CX here, which I intend to sell at some stage. Okay, so now we can do all the trimming of this clips. Don't think that was actually meant to join to that. I'll check though. No. Okay. Okay. Let's clean all this crap out of the way. Still waiting on the ultrasonic. Yeah, I know. And I am sorry about that. The it's just turned into such a massive thing. And of course I'm under pressure at the moment to get a different video out as well. A not ultrasonic one. But yeah, it's just, yeah, time is just a real hassle for me at the moment. The I mean, I shouldn't be doing this. What I'm doing right this very minute, I should not be doing this at all. I should be doing something else. I should be doing other work. I should. Just got to check this wire, whether I can actually solder this one. Okay. Doesn't go anywhere on that side, so yes, I guess I can solder him on. Ooh. Come on. Right. Now we've got to join these ones. Oh boy. I've never come across a board. Oh no, I shouldn't say that. I do have a board here at the moment, which I have already invested quite a lot of time in, and I need to get back to doing more. Where someone had done a bunch of trace repair. I was able to actually reduce a lot of it. What had happened was the person who had worked on it before had just started running wires across the board willy-nilly. I was able to actually do repairs in a way that most of those trace repairs were virtually invisible. There we go. Which is my goal. It's impossible with one like this, because I'm having to actually do repairs of wires that run inside the board. This one I believe is a 6-layer board, and so come on. And so I'm in a situation where I'm not just replacing a trace that was running along the outside of the board, like somewhere like this. I'm actually having to run a trace somewhere where there wasn't one originally, because it was originally inside the board. Inspiring you to finish your Quadra 700. Yeah. I've actually got a Quadra 700 in a similar state to this, but it's worse. And of course, the other thing that I have, the most important thing that I have, from this perspective, I just bent my thing. I have a working Quadra 700. And so that really makes it hard to motivate yourself to repair it. See, it's like with this. If I just suddenly magically ended up with a working 2FX tomorrow, I'd stop working on this. I need the drill for that one. Where is my drill? Hey, drill. Oh, drill. There it is. You'll have to help me determine which part of my Quadra 700 is missing. Yes, I think we talked about that in the early stages, didn't we? You had some missing bits. So, because I've got a Quadra 700 board, let's say here. Essentially what happened was the customer sent it to me for repair. I looked at it, I made an assessment. I said, look, I just don't think this is repairable. I don't think I can do it for you in a cost-effective way. I could spend, hours on this and get nowhere. So do you want me to try and then bill you for something that may not even work? So that's where you have to kind of put it back on the customer and say, look, you know, I can't just work on this thing for nothing. You know, I need to get paid. Are you prepared to pay me on the off chance that I may not be able to get it to work? And of course, invariably, the answer is usually no, except for one. I did have one where a person said, nope, give it a try. I'll pay. It's worth it. When that happens, it's sort of like, okay. Ugh. Ugh. I think he said it was an R-net, but we'll see. It could well have been. Death chime's always a positive step. I'd much rather hear death chime than hear nothing at all. This one is really clogged up. Having said that, it doesn't look damaged, so I can probably just leave it as is. I don't think I actually need to run a new... Cheeky mousey. I can hear you. You have to be stealthy. That wasn't stealthy. Okay, I'm going to leave that one because it's not actually. I don't think I actually need to repair it. I suppose I would like to stick a wire down there though for this. We're gonna keep at it. We're gonna keep at it. Just 10 more minutes. This little VIA here is just being unbelievably stubborn. I dropped my wick. Do I have any more up here so I don't have to bend over and make old man noises? I mean, I know I've got heaps up here, but I just don't know where they are. Oh, there's one. Yeah, what is it? Brand new roll. So anyone who has joined recently, I'm currently working on a Macintosh IIfx, which I picked up on Fleabay for probably too much money. I am in the process of all things DG, hello. I'm in the process of doing kind of spaghetti style repairs on it. I really want to pass a wire through this thing here. I'm having a bit of grief in the process. I wonder if I were to get, just as a thought, I'm going to try this. May not work, may not work. Oh God, that's bad. That's very bad. That's bad, I won't use that. What I'm thinking about doing, what if I was to get this here and try and heat it up and melt the solder using my drill bit. Not working. So the reason why I want to poke a hole in this here, this is a via, goes through to the other side, and on the other side, there is, the trace is damaged. And I would really love to be able to run the wire, the repair wire, through this via for better strength. But it's got solder in it, but the solder has got to that age where it doesn't melt properly anymore. It doesn't, I think I'm getting through. It doesn't melt when you apply heat to it. It's more of a crusty stuff, and you can see it's this like this grey powder. You know that. I've just taken the copper off the outside. Will I ever get through to the other side? Okay. So generally, with all the earlier Mac boards, you'll find that they are 4-layer boards. So if you're looking at things like the SE Plus, 512K, 128K, they're all 4-layer boards. They have pretty much all of your sort of data stuff on the outside, and then they have the like voltage and ground on the inside layers. The SE30 was an exception to that. It's a 6-layer board, and oh God, nearly lost the wire, the whole thing. And then of course as the Macs were getting more powerful and more complex, they then started adding more layers to them. And so yes, this is a 6-layer board, and so it just means that when some of these vias go, your only option is to do some repairs on the outside that would have originally been inside the board, which means it doesn't look as nice, but can't be helped. I did that with an SE30 recently. Had some damage going to the ROM. And interestingly enough, very frustratingly, that I managed to get that thing working. So it had, the ROM was a mess. The ROM was terrible. But I did actually manage to get it working. And when it got sent back to the owner, he couldn't get it working. I said, look, I know the board works, but the thing that's really sus on that thing is the ROM. So my recommendation would be to go and get yourself a big mess of wires, Rominator, and then I think you'll be safe as houses. So this one goes to this one. Like that. So let's get some flux happening and join it. Everything will look nice. Boom, 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 boom. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. At some stage, can you hold it up to the camera so we can see all the spaghetti zoomed out? You certainly can. I'm just going to finish. Just going to finish this. These little trace repairs here. There's 3 that I need to do. And once I've done those 3, we will be ready to observe the other side, and I will give you all a pretty damn decent look of what it looks like from the other side. And I expect gasps. I expect gasps, and I expect, you know, sort of the young ladies will faint, and then they will need to be revived with smelling salts. Oops. Oops. There it is. Battery speed all the way down the sim sockets. No, so yeah, I've got a bloody 950 here with battery damage as well. But once again, as with my Quadra 700, I then managed to get hold of a Quadra 950 that's in good condition, and so I haven't bothered to go back and repair the other one. Just sort of keep it for parts. Love the Quadra 950. It's just something I think about, like how big it is. It's like, yeah, mean business with a 950. I love the 800, the Quadra 800 and the Quadra 840 as well. However, I feel like they've kind of lost their, for me, because they have such terrible plastic on them, and so many of them, if you get hold of them now, the plastic is damaged, and more importantly, if you get one where the plastic is not damaged, chances are it will be damaged in a very short span of time, because all you have to do is touch it or look at it. And that's one of the things that has really turned me off the 800 and the 840 AV. I really wanted an 840 and an 800 and an 840 AV in my collection. But nowadays I'm just sort of like, oh God, you know what it's going to look like. It's going to be a mess. The bezels are going to be cracked. And that stupid thing that holds the new bus cards in place will be busted. I guess you can 3D print a new one of those. That's the 800, is it, Steve? The Quadra 800 or the 840 AV? Steve's got this Quadra 800, which he likes to pretend just works flawlessly, but has a tendency to just crash for no apparent reason. It's like, Steve, we know something's wrong with that 800. Both seem to have decent plastics. That's good. That's very good. Yeah, maybe they're not as bad as I'm sort of making out. I mean, I know the later ones are terrible. Like the 80, is it 8500 or 8100? I can't remember. Once they started breaking into those power PCs with like 50,000 different types of them, I tend to forget all the codes. Oh, snap. Your bed. Okay. And hear pigeons having a fight out the front of the window here. The tip's too big, yep. Okay. Virtually every plastic part is cracked or shattered, yep. I was, one day I was joking with the Macat guys, just saying, we should have a new segment on the show where you basically just show a piece of cracked plastic and then someone has to guess what sort of computer it came off. Okay, so we have essentially restored every single broken trace to this chip. We do need to do some reconnection at the other end of those, but we have essentially restored every wire going into this one. Oh yeah. Oh God, I'm looking forward to getting this clean. I'm sick of looking at all the goo. So now it is time for us to flip to the other side and do something with this spaghetti. So I am going to flip it over. I'm going to change camera views so that everyone can get it just a quick little look-see at what it looks like. And that's it there. Did you miss the gasp? There we go. It's just happening now. So now it's time for the gasp and the smelling salts. I'm going to take a photo of it. It will make I am God, real estate agents. The market's going a little bit crazy at the moment, and so we've got real estate agents sort of saying, hey, we want to sell your house for you. Okay, taking a couple of photos. So, once again, with something like this, what we just have to do is we've got to just do it one at a time. There's a lot of flippy flopping of the board that has to be done. Some of these I may not even need to worry about. See, when we look at something like this side is actually looks intact, so it might just be a matter of soldering that on there. I'll just have a look at the other side. Let's have a look at the other side for this one. row 4. Whoopsie. Okay, so that's that one. So row 4 there, boom, 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 boom. And then that one there. Okay, so that is, I think I worked this one out before. That's pin 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So that's pin 20 of that. And if we go to our lovely little schematic, pin 20 goes to pin 69 of UC16 with R181 in the middle. So let's try and find R181 first and see what's going on there. Here's R181. So R181, and that's, God, this is so dirty. Can't see it because we're not looking in the microscope. Scope view, please. Okay. Right. So that's 181. Now this used to be 1 resistor, but unfortunately I don't have any 39 ohm resistors. So what I did, instead of having a 39 ohm resistor, I got a, what was it, 33 and a 5.1, which will give me 38.1 instead of 39. And within the realms of tolerance of that, that'll be fine. So we've got one side of this going to pin, it's going through there, and that's going to pin, whoops, what was it, UC16, that's this one. So that's going through and connecting to here, and then, so the other end of this needs to go to that. So, yeah. So here's what we need to do. I need to get, this is fun, isn't it? Are we enjoying ourselves? This wire here needs to go to there. So let's feed him through that hole there. What's he look like on the other side? Okay. Well, it's ultimately it doesn't really need to go through that hole, but I will put it through that hole because. But what we do need to do is we need to connect it to the bottom of this resistor. So that's what we will do. What are the chances the whole thing will just blow up when I power it? What do you reckon? Now I'm really wishing, actually I'll do it now. I'll do it now. I'm going to do it now. I'm going to clean that up and I'm going to put some UV mask on it. It's the prudent thing to do, would you think? Yes. God, I better run a wire through that too. What a mess! Hi Laser Tech, what are we fixing? This is a Macintosh IIfx, and it was damaged by a leaky battery, and it is my wish, my intention, my plan to get it working again by means of lots and lots and lots and lots of wires. And it's going to take a long time. Whole lot of precious time. It's going to take patience and time to do it. Well, I'm not sure if it's doing it right, but it's doing it. Two. Okay, looking good. Looking good. Let's change the world. Well, I'll tell you what. I will. Oh, I found my good stabby thing. Or is that just the same old one, but that I just broke? Ah, never mind. Yeah, if it does work, it will definitely be getting a victory dance, that's for sure. Because, yeah, quite extraordinary. Need to just check something here. Bear with me a moment. That's all good. Thought I heard the sound of a car arriving in our driveway, but it was not. It's someone else's driveway. Because my wife has been out all morning, and when she arrives back, I will need to at least go and say hello to her for a little bit. And I might even need to stop the stream, because I think she said something about me having to drop her off somewhere. Okay. Stay. One of the things, someone mentioned this before about putting UV mask on and stuff, and I was saying, I can't really put UV mask on when the board is this dirty. There's actually another really important thing when it comes to UV mask, and that is once you get the UV mask on, it's a real pain to remove. You can only remove it, mechanically. So, you have to scrape it off if you want to get rid of it. And so I generally try and keep the UV mask until after I know the board works, because you can be in a situation where you're like, you getting the UV mask off. Oh no, sorry, you've UV masked something, and it doesn't work, and so you have to go in and do more stuff, and you have to scrape the mask off. So yeah, I do try and keep the masking until I know the computer works. But in this instance, I am going to do a little bit of UV masking here, because I do have to do a little bit of an overlap. And I need to get this protected. So I'm just going to get a little bit of mask here, from here, and paint it on. Yep, laser time. Pew pew. Retro Techie, have you been all along or did you just sneak in? Because I don't think I've said hello to you. We can purchase used and cheaper Hacko 810 heater 220 volt. I've found they are very expensive. Yeah. 220 volt. Which part of the world are you in, Fabrizio? Thank you very much for saying that, Retro Techie. I appreciate that. I want enough UV mask here, so I'm doing it in a couple of layers. I want enough here so that when I put this wire on top of it, it's very well insulated from the wires underneath it. Now, did I make that too thick? I think I may have made it too thick. Yeah. And I push it down, you can see it squeezes goo out. Let's make it look a little bit nicer. Okie dokie. Now I can get this wire and I can stick it on here. Like this. Yeah, I should probably be wearing UV protection while using this laser. Yeah, probably. I can always watch it on the screen. If I watch it on the screen, I'm protected. But there's a slight lag to it, so then it's like It's like steering a boat. Oh, my hand's starting to fatigue. It's starting to wobble from holding it in the same position for so long. Okay, that'll do. That'll do. That'll do, pig. That'll do. Right. Something to wipe this on. Right. Now we can solder this back on again. Without, get our trusty tweezers here. And soldery doldery. Went to sleep. There we go. Let's get a little bit more solder on here. So in theory, this wire is now bridging together some things. This is actually joining two chips together with the resistor in the middle. And what we are doing is we are replacing what should be this little hole here. So you can see that via there, that is meant to join up inside the board to here. And so we've ended up having to run that over the top of the board instead. What I can do, so that's this one here. This one here, it doesn't need to be connected. Yep, that one. So may as well cut him. No point in having him hanging out there with no idea what he's for. I'm just going to trim that. And I might just put a little bit of mask on that when I'm finished. All right. Now, I ran some wires through here before. Let's wire those up while we're here. Make it so that at least we've got spaghetti on only one side of the board rather than two. Here we go. I've got many people watching. I'm curious. I'm just 32 people watching. I'm pretty impressed with that, considering that I didn't actually do any. Oh, got UV mask on my shorts. Awesome. I didn't do any form of promotion of this live stream. I just started streaming. So thank you to everyone for just rocking up without any form of notice. So that goes from there to there, and so that needs to, oops, you don't be doing that. More care required, Mr. Brankus. Okay. And this needs to solder onto pin Uno. Wow. Phew. That was enough motivation for me to finally look at an SE30 board and horrible trace rot from leaking caps near the power connector. Yep, I know the caps you're talking about. Alright, what have we got there? That's gone. That's gone. So, we are essentially free of spaghetti on this side of the board. So now we just need to deal with all the spaghetti on this side. Well, we're one less than we had before, because I did one. I did do one. Now, this one. Where's he going? Actually, let's start with this guy here. Now, if we have a look here, you can see that there's no copper on the outside of that. I can see copper on the inside. You might just see little remnants of copper there, but it's not good. So we now need to find out where this goes, where it's meant to go, and then potentially find a new home for it. So that's this one. Right, okay, so this one goes to, how many pins are on this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14. So that's pin 28. So this one here, pin 28. Pin 28, pin 28. And that is UD16, pin 28. .28 goes to ground by the looks of it. And so do my tweezers, they went to ground too. Right, we will test that here. We'll get a little multimeter and we'll get it in beepity beep mode. My apologies that I'm not using the Kaiwits at the moment. I've got my Fluke at the moment, and that's purely to do with proximity. This is that one, and yeah, he's going to ground. So we just have to find somewhere groundy on the other side to stick to. Finding out what everyone's grateful for, aren't they? Michael's Workshop, hello. Okay, so ground. It was, which one was it? I can't remember. It was this one. This guy here, this one on the left that I'm wiggling. Oh, they're both wiggling, aren't they? The one that I'm wiggling furiously on the left. So, we need to now find some ground somewhere on the bottom of this, and then I can tack it on. Let's find me some ground. Now, I need to make sure that I am actually reading a 0. That looks groundy. Is that ground? Come on. Let's go give it a scrape. One of these two's got to be ground. And that just looks like it. So they're both beeping. Okay, one is, let's just check. So I go from there. That's my ground. This one, that is pretty much 0. That one is 16 ohms. So this one is ground. So that's a pretty easy thing for me to just wire them across to there. But I will need to do a little bit of mask first because I'm about to go over the top of a yucky trace. Okay. And then while we're at it, we probably should figure out where this one goes. So let me just flip it. I think this is one of my precautionary wires that I sent through. just in case there was damage. So this wire doesn't really need to go anywhere. That's good. That's good. That's very good. It is a little bit like a knitting course. C-O-U-R-S-E. Two. So I believe both of these were just, these were just precautionary. So there are a couple of instances where I ran wires down through holes just in case there were problems. So these ones here are nice and easy to sort out. Now let's get some UV mask on here. Paintbrush. All paintbrush. Here we are. How cool would it be if you could get UV mask like in a really fine pointed pen? Eh? How cool would it be? Hello to Reed Reinfeld. Is that correct? Have I said that right? Reed Reinfeld. Hello there. Thank you for joining. Have I said hello to you, Alex? I'm not sure I have. Hello. Been a little bit kind of preoccupied with all this stuff here. Quite an extraordinary situation we're ending up with here. But what would be truly extraordinary would be if it worked. I've had to replace quite a lot of components on the back here. A fair bit of damage, trace damage and the like. Okay. Gonna need to get flux all over this again. Yay! Now I did. Jay, have you been lurking the whole time, or have you gone away and come back again? And if you went away and came back again, do tell us what you've been doing, what you've been occupying your time with. Don't say cleaning your office. Are you hearing the birds in the background? That's a raven that's making that noise at the moment. An Australian raven. Very, very common in these parts. And they do make that noise which sort of sounds a little bit like a child. Now I did something here which I didn't mean to do. I wanted to actually have this further down here so it wasn't floating on top of this great big lumpy bit, but I managed to completely and totally fail at that. Not to worry. Okay, so that's, what have we got? That's 3 pieces of spaghetti we've just been able to eliminate from the board. So we're getting there. We are getting there. Working our way along. Joe, hello Joe. Right, now, these ones here I think I just need to attach to those. Let's just have a look on the other side. Yep, these are nice and easy ones. See, some of these are just basic. Some of them it's just, yep, all I need to do is just clean this off a little bit. It would make sense to go in and clean these off before I put wires through. But you know, I didn't do that. Now, did everyone here get a chance to see, I believe it was Ron's latest video from Ron's computer videos? We had a little chat with Steve from Mac84 and they talked about batteries. Learn how to battery. If anyone wants to know the reference to that learn how to battery statement, that was after a Facebook comment that someone was, I can't remember, they asked a question, something related to batteries, and someone replied with learn how to battery. And I just felt like that was just the bizarrest thing to say to someone. And ever since then, that's just become a thing. Learn how to battery. But anyhow, Ron and Steve were attempting to teach us how to battery. Look at that. There's a bit of yucky there. I might extend this up a little higher. Oh no, all good. Still got copper. Yeah, so anyhow, the intention of the video was to just kind of let people know about the dangers associated with batteries in old computers, and try and get people to actually seriously ask themselves, do you actually need a battery in your vintage computer? You know, why not just leave it without a battery? Now, sure, there are a few computers that you will need a battery in to boot properly. Like, for instance, I think one of the... Oh, will you excuse me for one moment? I will click on the back soon thingy. Hello. So, sorry about that. I just needed to find out how much longer I have to live stream. And the answer is a little under half an hour. So, unfortunately, we're not going to be testing it in this live stream. Having said that, there was very little chance of that anyway. given how much spaghetti is here. But yeah, anyhow, just letting you know that that's the my situation. I have I have offered to give my wife a lift somewhere. So I mean, I could just put the back soon thing up and go and do the lift and then keep going when I come back. But I don't know. I wonder how many viewers I'd end up with at the end of that. People will just, if they're sitting there watching the back soon thing. Okay. Get back here and continue praising my comedy improv skills with Ron. Oh, sorry, yes. So anyhow. As I was mentioning before, there was this video that Steve did with Ron. It's on Ron's channel about batteries. And, you know, the question asking yourself, do you need to actually have a battery in there? And in, you know, sort of a lot of instances, that answer is actually no. I mean, yeah, okay, the clock's not going to keep time. But with a lot of these vintage computers, you know, you pull them out every now and again. Does it matter if the clock's gone wrong in that time? You can always reset it. Now, one thing I did want to mention, though, because Steve has in some instances replaced the half AA battery or whatever battery it is, Rayovac square battery in some of those computers. He's replaced them with AA batteries in a little holder. Now, of course, that's a really, really handy and convenient thing to do, but just remember to everyone out there that if you are going to do that, AA alkaline batteries don't last anywhere near as long as lithium batteries, and of course they do terrible things when they start to leak. So if you are in a situation where you are going to replace a lithium battery with just a standard household alkaline battery in a battery holder, something like that, don't leave the batteries in there. You know, just don't. Bad stuff can ensue. Right, so let's look at our next bit of spaghetti. That's this guy here. And I'm going to look at where this wire goes on the other side and see what I need to do. Quadro funny on your stream. Joining my stream isn't as easy as because I'm on Ecamm. On Ecamm I can have guests on, but it's not like StreamYard where you can actually just be in a situation where someone takes over the stream partway through. Okay, so this one, where you go? Where you go? So we've got 1, 2. Oh, is that you? Is it you there? Do you see what I see? Okay. It's directly below that one. And then there's 2 wires going down the next one down. So let's have a look. Is it this one? Is it that one? I'll soon be able to find out. Sorry, that noise is ravens. The ones you can hear, the ones going, eh, eh, eh. That be ravens. Two. I think it's underneath the chip. Yeah, it's underneath the chip. So let's get the board here where I can actually see what it looks like underneath the chip. And there's 2 wires there, so it's that one there. That's going to pin. What did I say? It was 14, wasn't it? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. here, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Pin 18. All right. So it goes to pin 18 of this chip. Let's see what pin 18 does on the schematic. I keep moving around with the scalpel in my hand. That is so freaking dangerous. 18 goes to pin 73 of UC16. So, okay. So, all right. Okay. So, let's see if we can find pin 73 here. That's pin 1. $73 I said. 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 71. Did I say 71? I can't remember. I've forgotten everything. I've forgotten all the things. I said 18 to 73, didn't I? 1, 72, 73. That's that one. Okay, so here's the test. Here's the test. Here's what I'm going to do. I am going to attempt to just solder this onto this via, and then we're going to see whether that is enough, whether that has actually made us our connection. So a little bit of flux under there, a little bit of solder, and make sure I apply enough heat to get through the enamel on this wire. All right, so I have now soldered that wire. So what I need to do now is see whether I have continuity between pin 73 and pin 18. Oops, I've rolled over my leads here. $73, yes, good, thank you. 18 to 73. 18 to 73. So, 15, 16, 17, 18. Right there. You can't see it, it's off camera. Let's take my word for it. And then we'll count backwards this time. 80. Okay, so that's 80, 79, 78, 77, 76, 75, 74, 73, 73. Spaz. Didn't do it. $18. Hang on. 79, 78, 76, 75, 74, 73. Bummer. Alright, so now I need to be more persuasive with the electrons. Okay, so let's try this again. We've got 80, 79, 78, 77, 76, 75, 74, 73. So it's this one here going through to the trace to that little spot there. Oh crap, did I lose my other little stabby thing again? I'm good at losing those. Okay, this is a big hole. Not a little hole, but a big hole. And let's see if I can wick some of that stuff out. If I can find wick. Stupid big board. Not enough room. Things keep falling off the table. That was nice. That went right through. That's beautiful. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to grab the known good board. Well, good-ish. And we're just going to check and make sure that what I'm checking here on the schematic is correct. So we're going from 18, right here. And then we're going to go 80. Oh, yep, there it is. There it is. Beepity beep. Okay, so I know that I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing the right thing. Everyone's doing the right thing, but we are going to have to add some more spaghetti. It's lunchtime. I'm hungry. Stop it. Yeah, giving me grief. Okay, he's not quite through on the other side. So we will need to resolve that. Have to find out which hole it is. That's a big hole. Is it this one? That's it. Yep, see ya. Okay. So let's try that again. Feed ourselves a little bit of wire through this hole, which you can't see because it's right on the edge of my vision, which means there's no way that you'll be able to see it. And then that needs to join with this one, I believe. That's a long way it has to travel. Damn. They're yum. Oh, I'm going to just join it for the moment. And we'll deal with the consequences later. Oh, someone at the door. If you will excuse me for a moment. Unless someone else is getting it, I will just check. Actually, I think I have to get it. Oh no. Oh, it's a package being delivered. Decent sized package as well. I wonder what it is. Wonder if it's one of mine or someone else's. Alright, okay. So I can stop freaking out now. That's what I was doing. I was freaking out. I haven't been reading the chat much lately, have I? Sorry. Angular momentum. Good night. Thank you very much for joining. Sorry I didn't see that earlier. Some rude, rude person. If I can feed this in this hole as well. Hole's a pretty small hole. Got it sort of in there. Now let's smother it in solder. There we go. Okay, so what we're doing at this stage is we're just going to test a theory, really. We're going to just check and see if this is going to give us the continuity we so desire. Okay, so we'll just do, this is not going to be permanent because with this wire having to travel so far across the board, I want to do it kind of last. So I'll probably just let this sit and then I'll tighten it up later on. It might even be one that I do after it's been through the ultrasonic. But let's just check and see now if we have the continuity that we were after between these 2 points. So we've got pin 18 up here, right there, pin 18, and we're going to pin 73. So we've got 80, 79, 78, 77, 76, 75, 4, 73. Yay! Yay! Okay, so that one is half done. We know what it needs to do, but I will probably clean it up later on, tighten up that wire, because that wire's very loose on the back. No wine delivery today. Got the wine delivery yesterday. I don't need one every day. I recently set up a doorbell down here, so that when the door rings, when someone rings the doorbell, I can hear it down here now, which is extremely convenient. Very convenient. Now, I've soldered these in. There we go. Okay, so I've soldered these two in here, pretty much. What are they going to? Okay, they're under the chip as well. So let's grab the other board. God, I'm so glad I have this other board. This one this way, and this one this way. And we've got that way. No, that way, that way, that way. So we have it goes down and up. Yeah, those two there. So it is those two there. So that is pins 14, 13, 12, 11, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, so 13 and 11. Pins 13 and 11. And we need to find where they go. So that one there is pin. Oh, God. You can see why I do a lot of this stuff without live streaming. this particular part of work because it is just tedious and repetitious and stuff. So that one on the left, that's pin 13. Okay, so let's find out where 13 goes and we'll see if we've actually restored continuity or not. Don't need a wine delivery every day yet. Yes, well, keeping in mind that when I do get a wine delivery, I don't just get like one bottle. I get several bottles. Um, 13, pin 13. 13 goes to pin 77. 13 to 77. So we can easily check that. Yes, sirree. Okay, so, you know, that there. 14, there's 13. Oh, God. Space, I need space. Okay, 80, 79, 78. I said 77, didn't I? 13 to 77. Yep. 13 to 77. 80, 79, 78, 77. 13. Yay! And then the next one was pin 11. And that goes to 79. 11. Yay! Oh, I do like that, because that means I can just trim this spaghetti without having to wire it up anywhere. So it's these two here. So these were still intact on the inside. There we go. So then I can just trim those. Bim. Bim. 2 more spaghetti gone. Patience working on aboard this. Yes, well, thank you, LMNO. I appreciate that. It could be a compliment, or not. I guess one of the things that's kind of keeping me going at the moment, particularly at this particular juncture, is that I feel like I'm getting close. I mean, I feel like I can probably even power it up later today. I don't know if I'll still be streaming at that stage, but I do feel like I'll be able to power it up later today. And that fills me with all kinds of joy and hysteria. Right, so this one. I'm just reminding folks I will be having to stop very soon. I may even come back and start the stream up again. I don't know. It'll just depend on how energetic I'm feeling and whether I get bullied into it by the Macat gang. But just trying to figure out where these wires go through on the other side. I don't know. Oh, I don't order enough for a month. Starbucks Tech. If I did that, they'd have to send a truck. Okay, so this one here. Finding a location on the other side of the board is always tricky. Where did you come from, wire? I'm so confused. I feel like I've got a wire going through that doesn't come out the other side. Maybe it's that guy. Might be this little guy here. Right. One way to find out. It goes to... That's 14, 13, that's 11. That's 10, that's pin 10. So, let's test that theory, shall we? It's this one I was looking at, isn't it? Yeah, okay. So let's test that theory. Here's the wire. Let's scrape a little bit of it. Oh, crap, I lost him again. Okay. Come on. Let's do this without wrecking this wire. Okay. And then this enamel's working too well. Eh. What to do? What to do? Let's try that. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So that's what that one does. And so that's pin... Sorry. I know you can't see what I'm doing at the moment, and for that I apologise. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. Pin 10. Pin 10. Wrong one. Pin 10 goes to pin 99, Luftballons. So let's check that now. So that's pin 14, 13, 12, 11, pin 10, which goes to there. Switch itself off. 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. Goes to there. Oi, oi. Right. Stay. Okay. Ah! Must you vex me so? 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, 88, 89, 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 97, 98, 99. Yay! That's another one that all I have to do is solder it down and trim it. That's this one here. Bit of solder. Yay. Scalpel. Managed to stab myself with tweezers while I was working on this yesterday. Just jabbed myself right in the belly with them, which was not one of my finer moments, I will say. Okay, that one. Is it directly below? What? This one is just below and to the right, so if I'm looking around the other way, it'll be below and to the left. Oh, I see you. What do you connect to? I think he connects to pin 14. Yeah, he's pin 14. So, once again, get our trusty schematic and go pin 14. Oh, I think 14, yeah, 14's ground. That's easy. So let's just check and make sure that this is going to ground. And if it's not, we'll join. Oh, that's me. Yep. Okay, that's me. I've got to get going. Well, folks, thank you very much for joining. I am going to continue with this. I may live stream with it later on. But I would like to thank you all for joining me today. And I will see you at the next one. So, bye all.